Hello, dear learners. I wish you are doing well. So now we start with a buffer. That is the ultimate goal hour to reach when we started our first lecture on acid and base. That what I recommend you to please watch that videos. There are 2-3 videos that approximately individually will be around 10 minutes. So that will help you to make a foundation to reach this buffer. Okay, now let us start it. Okay, so buffer, it can be defined as a solution which resists the change in a pH. Okay, so in this topic, in this lecture, we learn about why it is important, then we learn about how it works. Okay, so buffer, it can be, we can divide into two categories. One, we can say it as an acidic buffer. Second, we can say a basic buffer. Whenever I say acidic, means the pH will be below the 7. If I say basic, that means the pH will be above 7. Okay, the neutral pH is always same. Now if I say the acidic buffer, which means maintain a acidic environment. If I say basic buffer, which will maintain a basic environment. But if I categorize into broad spectrum, the word we use in a buffer, okay, which will maintain the pH of in a solution. Now why it is important to study this? Okay, so first of all, if I need to understand the mechanism of an enzyme that have some biochemical property, for example the pepsin. Okay, for example the pepsin which work well at the pH 2, and if I say amylase which work at the pH 7, mean there are two different category, okay, of the enzymes which will work at a different environment condition. One is working within a acidic environment, another is working within a neutral environment. Okay, so if I say to understand what kind of a reaction is going on, if I'm using a pepsin, okay, to digest or to degrade some protein into a say product or even some component, so I need to maintain a pH during the process, during the reaction. When a pepsin is working, if I'm adding something, some other component, for example some reactant is added, the pH should not be fluctuate, it should be around 2. Okay, it should not be 4, it should not be 5, should not be 7. It should not be affected, the pH should not be affected, because the enzyme is working under an optimum pH. Okay, so in the broad spectrum we can say a buffer is a solution which will resist the change in a pH, irrespective to that is an acidic buffer or irrespective to that is a basic buffer. Okay, just we categorize on the basis, okay, if it work under the pH 7, we called it acidic buffer. If it work above the 7, we called it the alkaline or the basic buffer. But the buffering, okay, so if I say pepsin is working at 2, it must be maintained. If you are doing some experiment in a lab, okay, you need to maintain a pH 2, it should not be fluctuated by adding something. Okay, suppose you are adding some substrate A, substrate B, that is also its property, it should not be affect, because we are understanding the property of an enzyme which will working in the optimum pH, that is 2. Okay, so I guess at this point why it is important is clear to you. Now we'll move toward the how it works. Now let us understand the buffer system by taking an example of acetic acid. You might have heard and learned about the thing. Acetic acid is in a weak acid with its conjugated base, so that's why I called it in a weak acid and its conjugated base as in a buffer system. One more important thing also, this lie under the category of acidic buffer system. Okay, because it is under the pH 7 where it operate. Okay, now let us understand. Here is one statement that is being made over here to explain this, particularly the weak acid and particularly this acetic acid is like, okay, weak acid plus its salt within a strong base. Okay, now let us see the clarification of this. What I said, a weak acid, that is acetic acid, when react within a strong base, that is your NaOH, it produces in a salt plus water. Now the important thing, we are producing in a salt of sodium acetate. What is the need of that salt to be produced? Let us take an answer of this. Okay, so here if I say I am taking only I am taking only acetic acid. Okay, I am taking only acetic acid, and the reaction is like it will be when we dissolve in water, it will be going to produce. So the reaction is like weak acid is going to produce in a H positive and CH3OO negative, that is in a conjugated base. What we required in a buffer? We required weak acid plus its conjugated base. But I said for a buffer we required a weak acid plus its conjugated base. Here what actually happening, the weak acid is there, it's okay, but the concentration of this conjugated base is less. What I said, the concentration of this acetic acid, acetate, what I said, the acetate, the concentration this acetate that is conjugated base is less. Okay, now how to increase the concentration of this conjugated base? So that's why we are making in a salt of that. So what we are doing, we are making in this weak acid, that is acetic acid, react within a strong base to form in a salt and water. Now this is being required. Now what actually happening, this NaOH is going to be react completely to form in a salt, that is sodium acetate over here. And now here there's an appropriate concentration of NaOH is added. Now here the point is like appropriate concentration of NaOH is added. So CH3OOH, that is sodium acetate, and so this salt of sodium acetate will be present. We don't want to be all of this weak acid, that is acetic acid, to be converted into a salt. So that's why we are saying an appropriate concentration is being added of NaOH. So the required concentration of this salt can be achieved. Okay, now why we say this? Because this salt is going to be dissociate into sodium acetate. Now this sodium acetate is going to be dissociated into acetate ion plus sodium. So what is required in a high concentration? That is CH3COO negative, which has earlier has a low concentration. So the concentration of the CH3 can be increased by utilizing this reaction. So that's why we say is weak acid plus its salt within a strong base. So I guess it is clear with you ki why we are adding in a strong base, and that too in an appropriate condition. So the required concentration of CH3COO negative, that is in a conjugated base, can be achieved. Okay, now what actually happening? Let us take a case. Say if OH is added, mean in a buffering system, if OH is being added because it need to maintain a pH, what actually happening? So this OH is going to react within a CH3COOH. So this is a weak acid. So this is going to react within a weak acid to produce an acetate ion plus water. Okay, so to balance means ki this OH is being neutralized, because when you add an OH, that means you are moving toward the basicity. Okay, so to neutralize this OH, what actually happening? It is converting this into water. This OH is being reacted with the hydrogen to form a water, and this acetate is formed. Now what happened when you add an H positive ion, means the higher concentration of H positive ion added. So what happened? This is going to be react with CH3O negative plus H positive to form weak acid. So point to be noted over here. Okay, if I take this thing here, it will be on my, this is on the right side, this is on the left side. Okay, so here also this is in a, this is in a right hand side, this is on left side. So means okay, this is in a balanced condition. Okay, so the pH is being balanced, mean if you are adding at one side, this OH is being added. So what happened? This is being converted into acid, this acetate ion plus water. And now if the concentration of this need to be maintained, if hydrogen ion is added, more hydrogen ion is added. So what happened? It is going to convert into acetate ion. Means the left side and the right side balancing should be there. Equilibrium should be maintained. Okay. So the important things we need to note it down here. The salt help to increase the conjugated base. Strong base help to make a sodium acetate. Okay, that is going to be converted into acetate ion plus sodium ion, and that acetate ion is called in a conjugated base. So basically we can conclude over here ki why we says within a strong base, because here the acetic acid concentration should be matched with that of a, can say should be matched with that of an exactly the conjugated base. Okay, so appropriate concentration is being required. So now let us discuss about the buffering region. For the buffering region, we have to go for titration. In the burette, we are taking an NaOH that is 0.5 molar, and in the flask, we are taking in a weak acid that is an acetic acid. Okay, that is a 0.5 molar also. Remember the volume we are taking. This now before the starting of a reaction, that means before adding NaOH to the acetic acid, what actually happened, this acetic acid is slightly ionized. Okay, this slightly ionized, like this HAC is ionized into H positive and AC negative. This is going to be slightly ionized with a dissociation constant that is 1.74 in 10 raised to minus 5 molar. Okay, and when we add an NaOH, now here we need to note it down the things that when we add an NaOH, the NaOH is going to be break into sodium and OH negative. Now this OH negative is going to react with the hydrogen ion which is formed from the water, like H2 is break down with the H positive and OH negative. So this OH is going to react with an hydrogen ion and to form in a water. Okay, to form in a water. Now what happened when it is going to react, the hydrogen ion or the proton is consumed with an OH to form in a water. Now there is a deficiency of H positive ion. For the deficiency, so what happened next, the HAC, that is acetic acid, is going to be dissociated into H positive and AC negative. So the H positive will be the concentration of H positive ion to be maintained. Now as the titration is going on, what actually happening, the more acetic acid is ionized, okay, the more acetic acid is ionized, and they will form to be an acetate ion. Now NaOH added, half of the acetic acid are ionized. Now remember, in the initial I told you the concentration of this acetic acid and the concentration of NaOH is being kept same, so that's why we says, and the volume is also being taken same. So what we say is that half the volume of NaOH is being, half the volume of NaOH added and half the acetic acid are ionized. Okay, so what actually happening here, now when I say addition of NaOH, if I say one molecule of NaOH is added, it is going to give Na positive and OH negative. Okay, similarly if I can say one molecule of this acetic acid is going to be dissociated or ionized, it's going to dissociate to H positive and AH. So one NaOH, when it is being added, it lead to dissociation of one acetic acid, mean one molecule of acetic. So when we can say equal molecule of NaOH added, equal molecules of acetic acid is being ionized. So we also said initially the volume is also kept at a constant, means the same. So here 20 ml of here is NaOH, 20 ml of here using an acetic acid. Now what happened at the half, when the half volume of NaOH, that is sodium hydroxide, is being used, again at the midpoint of the titration, half NaOH, mean half the volume of NaOH added, half of the acetic acid will be ionized. Okay, now this is we called it an titration curve of acetic acid. Now here we can notice down at initially the acetic acid that is present in the form of CH3COH, at the end it is present CH3OO negative, that is acetate ion, and this happen when you are adding an NaOH. Okay, so when you are adding an NaOH, what happen, initially when there is no NaOH, so the acetic acid is present in CH3COH, okay, and here it is present in acetate ion. Okay, now as we are starting the addition of NaOH, at the midpoint what happened, the half of the equivalent of NaOH is utilized and half of the acetic acid is being ionized. Okay, so here also it is being also checked experimentally that the pH is equal to pKa, and that is equal to 4.76. What I said, at the midpoint the pH is equal to pK and it will come to be 4.46, where the acetic acid and the acetate ion concentration is equal. What I said, the acetic acid and the acetate ion concentration is equal. And you also just check it out, there is a flattering flattering of this curve. And when the flattering of curve is started, so this flattering of curve started, we called it as a buffering region. So buffering region start from the 4.26 to 5.26. Okay, so there's a flattering of, you can say, the flattering of this curve. Okay, and that area we called it a buffering region. Okay, now the question arises ki how to check it out the dissociation is completed. Okay, now we have added an phenol pathogen indicator at the weak acid, that is acetic acid. Okay, 2 to 3 drops. Okay, that is a colorless, and when the color changes completely to pink, okay, from colorless to pink, that means all the acetic acid is being ionized to acetate. Okay, so that means the acetic acid is being ionized into acetate ion. Okay, so here we can say at the pH around 7, the acetic acid is completely ionized into acetate. Okay, so here the acetate is present at the, when we say at the beginning the acetic acid will present around the pH of 2, and at the midpoint where the concentration of acetic acid and acetate ion is equal, that is called midpoint, and the flattering curve started and the flattering curves ended, that region we called in a buffering region. Now the question here, okay, when we prepare a solution, okay, the pH is must be considered. Now if I am preparing a say a buffer of acetic acid, when I am preparing a buffer of acetic acid, the pH should be maintained around 4.7. So here we can conclude it to say that when we are preparing in a buffer, I repeat, when we prepare in a buffer, the buffer should be prepared according to the midpoint, because the buffering region is lie around this 4.76. I hope you like this lecture and you understand. If you have any doubt or any say comments or any questions, kindly put it in a comment section. Thank you so much, and keep learning and keep rising, and please don't forget to subscribe, like and comment if you understand the lecture. Thank you so much. Have a nice time. Thank you so much.